Welcome to this video about combining the power of ChatGPT and the no-code tool Bubble.io. What are you going to learn in this video? Well, number one, you'll see how to connect OpenAI's API to Bubble so that you can access ChatGPT's question and answer or prompt and response model in your Bubble app. And number two, you'll see the API being used in action to build a simple question and answer app. So the first thing you're going to want to do is head over to openai.com, and then you see here in the upper right hand corner the API button. This might change, as websites do from time to time. And then click on Get Started, and then you'll be prompted to log into either an account that you already have, or you'll need to go ahead and create one. Now, upon creating one, you'll be taken to this screen, and ChatGPT, or actually OpenAI, they'll give you $18 worth of free credits that you can start off with and just kind of get going to play around and start building. And speaking of playing around, what you'll want to do is head over to this playground area. So this playground area, what you see in this box here is basically the same thing you're probably used to with this question and response area, except it's all inside of here. So let's just take a look at how that works, and then we'll take a look at getting the API keys. So you type in a prompt, you have the model, it's set to, we're using the mode for, okay, may violate, oh no, because they're trying to save the world or something, or the theme of it, who knows. But so that's a great thing to have pop up here, that you'll make one, you'll make sure, and we'll do this in a different video, that you have something that moderates what people can put into your AI model, because you're sending it over to ChatGPT and they will moderate that as well, and you don't want your account to get penalized. And so basically now what we're going to do for the remainder of the course is we're going to look at a prompt that we're going to use to build out the stuff over in Bubble, to build out a UI, to have a prompt that's a little bit dynamic, that gives back values that are then shown from ChatGPT over in our Bubble app. So let's take a look at what the prompt is that we're going to be working with. Okay, so let's take a look at this prompt. And we'll see it actually time out here in a second, which I've set up here on this maximum length thing. So I just wanted to show that, to point out that you'll want to play with this to make it work for whatever use case of the what you're intending to get back. So now I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to say from the below movie, and I'll say movie, and then I'll say Spaceballs. And I'll delete this. And let me just do the 4 or 3, just so it's a little bit quicker. But okay, so we can see that is happening there. So we've got our prompt here, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to Bubble, and we're going to set up the API call. So what we want to have happen there is that we want to click Add Another API. Make sure that your the API connector is installed. Obviously, if you're looking for this video, you're probably pretty advanced in the world of Bubble, but for anyone new. And so what we're going to do is we click Add an API, and this is going to be our OpenAI API. And what we're going to select here for authentication is private key and header. Our authorization is this is for the live, this is for the dev. You're going to need to fill both of these in. So over on your OpenAI account, what you're going to want to do is head over to your API keys area. You're going to click Create a New Secret Key, head back over here into Bubble, and then type in this word bearer space, and then type in or paste in your key after that. So what this is doing is it's just setting up the API so that we can authenticate with it, and then we're going to add this here. And what this is going to say here is content type application JSON. And then so we're pretty good to go there on this part. And then the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add an API call for what it is that we're doing over here. And so what we're doing is we're making an API call for movie quotes. And we're going to be doing this as an action, and we're going to use post here, and then enter in this URL here. So you can just read it off the screen and type it in order to have this go to the endpoint, as we are using this over here. We're using our mode is complete. So with that set up, what we want to do down here for this is head back to our playground, and then, yep, so we can see that we're doing pretty good here. We want to head over to view code, make sure this is selected to JSON. It might be Python as default, and then grab and paste this in here, and then come and look for this value. So for this movie, what we're going to do for the value of it here is we're going to enter in this for dynamic values. We'll say movie title, and then here we'll say Spaceballs. And then be sure to uncheck this private so that it works, because we want our users who are interacting with this to be able to access that. Okay, so basically, let's just take one last check over everything. Post, action, yep. And so this top header part for this API, if we collapse this, we can see we have a call here. So we're making a call here to ChatGPT just for this particular stuff. We could potentially have more calls in here. This is just a simple tutorial where we're only showing the example, or I'm only showing the example of one at this time, but you could potentially have a few. And you could also be tying into the Dolly image API as well. So let's go ahead and initialize this call. Okay, and so it came back here, and one of the main things we want to see is that this text is a text field indeed. And over here in the raw data, we can see that this text that it came back with is these three quotes. Oh, and pay attention to this part here for choices. We can see that this choices holds this text, so that when we go in our workflow and access this, we're going to go through choices and then text, and it's going to be like a list of an item of one. So make sure you hit save here, and that's going to initialize your call. If it says something red here, you're going to want to rework it, but you should be good to go. This is pretty simple and plain. And I actually realized I initialized this with 3. I'm going to go ahead and reinitialize just so that we get something closer to what I'd like to show up, something substantial in our results list. So as it's doing that, it'll come up with this. We can see that there's much more text here, and we can save that. And so we're good here. That could be something that's changed, but we're not going to worry about that for now. Next up, let's take a look at the UI that we have for this. So over in the UI, I've kind of got something that's already set up, and I'm just going to show you the teardown. What we have here is a couple different things. And basically, this container holds 3 things. This image, just an image hanging out there. We have a group that is a search box, which contains 3 things. It is a row that just has 2 of those things are icons, and then one is a styled input that we're calling input search movie title. And and then below that we have a simple button, a group that's styled as a button for this giggle search. And so for our funny movie app powered by AI, let's go ahead and let's see what we can do to get things going in the world of workflows. And I'm just going to show off quick. So this thing here, what we want to have happen, we want to have it close out that when something is typed in there. So to do that, we're just going to say, in order to reset inputs, this actually resets inputs that were used. So we have to just find a way to use those inputs. So we're going to set the state on the search box. I already have a search value, and we'll just say it's this inputs value. And then that way we have this nice thing that will clear it out for us. Okay, but we don't have anything yet set up to actually run the workflows from and call our API and get some data. So let's go and do that on this search button. And what we're going to do is we type in open. We have this open API movie quotes, and basically what it's looking for here is the dynamic data that we're going to pull from whatever's in this input value, and then it's going to give us a response back. I think I'm just going to store that into a state. We'll just say on the we'll add a new custom state on the page itself, and we'll just say this is the ChatGPT response, and that's just some text. And then what we'll do is we'll add a group, and maybe give that and let's see what we're dealing with here. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some text into there. And this text, what we're going to do for its value here is we're going to grab the response, which we actually need to set that up for the value. So it's the result of step one. So this thing went out and we sent it this, and then what it's giving us back is under choices, like I mentioned a little bit ago. And then we're going to go with the first item's text. And so basically, this closes the loop for us to see that we've got, let's go ahead and make this perhaps a column. Okay, so let's go and type in some movies. It's going out, it's communicating with the API. And then here it's come back and we can see that we've got some UI work to do here at the bottom. But basically, we have a working model that communicates with ChatGPT. We'll do this one last time. And we can see that we've successfully written a prompt, connected our API to ChatGPT, sent it out, received a response, and then displayed that for our users over here in our fun app called Giggle. Now we could do some additional styling things and fancy stuff here, but that's outside of the scope of this video. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more great tips about Bubble, and thanks for watching.